Notes 12.1, Introduction to Polynomials and Adding and Subtracting. Today we're going to focus in on adding and then our intro, which is going to deal with some vocab. Next lesson we're going to deal with subtracting and we'll throw in some adding. So we're going to add on a little bit each day. So let's deal with some terminology first. So what's a monomial? Let's pick apart that word. Okay, and that prefix has got M-O-N-O, mono. So that's an expression with one term. Okay, mono meaning one. And then we can expand on that and say binomial. So that's going to be an expression with two terms. And then you can guess what try is going to be. And then we jump down to poly. Okay, poly, that prefix meaning many. Okay, so that's like the umbrella term. Okay? So an expression with many terms. So what I say is like the umbrella term. We could put mono, binomial, trinomial underneath the polynomial definition. Okay, so that's just like in general. And then the degree of a polynomial is the highest exponent in the expression. So we're going to do a few examples in each section, and then I'm going to have you do some on your own to bring to class. And we're going to talk about them in class. So the first section says we've got to determine or classify whether it's a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial. So when I look at number one, I've got 3x squared. And how is 3 attached to that x squared? Well, it's attached by multiplication. So it would look like there's more than one term there, but when it's attached by multiplication, it's still a monomial. It's still one term. If there were a difference between those two, if there was a subtraction sign between the 3 and the x squared, or an addition sign between the 3 and the x squared, then it would be considered two terms in a binomial. But the multiplication between this indicates that this is a monomial. And number two, we've got a 4x plus a 4. So it's 4 times x, so that multiplication still indicates one term there, plus the 4. Because we have a plus sign, we have two terms. That's going to be a binomial. And then in number 3, 7x squared plus 8x plus 1. We have an x squared term, we have an x term, and then we have a constant on the end. The constant means doesn't have a variable with it. That has 3 terms. That's considered a trinomial. I want you to come to class with 4, 5, and 6 done. 7 through 12 says, put the polynomial in descending order and then determine the degree. Descending order, okay, means the highest to the lowest exponent. And then we got to determine the degree. So we have 2 steps in this section. When I look at my 3 terms, you've got to underline those terms. I look at the exponents. We've got x to the 4th and an x squared, and then that 3 is a constant, so it doesn't have a variable. Are they in descending order, meaning highest exponent to lowest? So I go from 4 to 2, and then I don't have an exponent on that 3. So that is already in descending order, so I'm just going to rewrite it. And the degree is determined by, let's go back and look at that definition. The degree is the highest exponent in the expression. So what number is the highest exponent? Oh, oops. Hopefully you're seeing that it's that 4. So the degree is 4. Let's take a look at, you guys are going to do 8, but that should be 9 there. Okay, you're going to do 9. We're going to do 10 and 11 together. So number 10, look at my terms. I'm going to underline each individual term. And if I have to put it in descending order, I've got to pick the term that has the highest exponent. So the one that has the highest exponent is that x to the 4th, but make sure you take the sign that goes with that term. It's not just 8x to the 4th, it's a negative 8x to the 4th. That's my highest exponent. Then my next highest exponent is x to the 3rd. So I'm going to have 4x to the 3rd. And when that sign, there isn't a sign there, you assume it to be a positive. Make sure you put that plus with it. And then the exponent to the 2x is 2x to the 1st. So plus 2x to the 1st, or just 2x. So we've put it in order. Now you've got to determine the degree of this expression. The degree is the highest exponent. Let's do number 11. So let's put it in, let's underline our terms. Highest exponent is x to the 4th. So 8x to the 4th. You could put the plus there if you wanted to, but you don't have to because it's in front. And then minus 13x. My exponent is 1 there, so I put it in order. Now to determine the degree. So the highest exponent in this expression is 4. So the degree equals 4. You're going to come to class with number 12 done as well. When you're ready, go ahead and flip the page. So let's talk about finding sums or adding polynomials. So I've got a trinomial plus, the sign is in between, another trinomial. We've got some steps. I'm going to take out the word underline and I want to put in the word highlight. You're going to highlight each like term in a different way. And then every time you have a new like term, you can change your highlighting colors. Okay, you can use a highlighter, you can use a colored pencil. Make sure your answer is written in simplest form. So we are going to do 3 examples together, and then you're going to have the rest to do to come to class with. So let's start off with number 1. So I need to make sure that I identify that it is plus. So we're just adding like terms here. So really the parentheses aren't necessary. So my first step is I'm going to rewrite without the parentheses. Now I'm going to highlight or underline like terms. You know what like terms are. We've practiced that. So 8y squared is the same as a positive 3y squared. And then plus 2y is the same as a plus 7y. Now let's do exactly what we've highlighted. So 8y squared plus 3y squared, what I've highlighted in yellow. When I combine those, that's going to be 11y squareds. And then what I've highlighted in green, plus 2y plus 7y is going to be plus 9y. That's my final answer. I've combined my like terms. I can't do anything else with that. Because 11y squared is not the same as 9y, so you're done with that. Number 2. Practice identifying the operation, what's in between the parentheses, so it's plus. So I can get rid of those parentheses because they're not necessary. So this is just a rewrite step. Now I've got to highlight my like terms. So a 3x cubed, so I'm going to search my list for another x cubed. And I'm going to highlight it. I've got my x squareds. Make sure you highlight the sign that goes with the term. Notice I'm highlighting those negatives as well. And then, whoops, I left out 4x there. There we go. Now I'm going to continue to search for my x's. I have a plus 4x and a plus 2x. And then the last one are going to be my constants, the ones that don't have any variables. So that minus 2 and plus 4. So let's focus in on the x cubes, what we highlighted in yellow. So 3x cubed plus 7x cubed. In other words, it's 3 plus 7. 10x cubed. Let's look at the green. Negative 4x squared minus 9x squared. So negative 4 minus 9. And negative 4 minus 9, that's going to be negative 13x squared. And what's highlighted in blue? Plus 4x plus 2x. So what's 4 plus 2? 6x. And then the constants, negative 2 plus 4. It's going to be plus 2. So we put everything together that's like. You're going to come to class with number 3 done and number 4. And we're going to do one more. So let's remind ourselves what perimeter means. So perimeter is the distance around the shape. Distance around the shape. You're going to do number 6. We're going to do number 5. So we've got a square here, and it shows that one side is 5x. Okay, so some background knowledge about a square. All the sides are equal. So now if I'm going to find the perimeter, perimeter means to add up all the sides to get that distance around the shape. So I've got my 4 sides that I'm going to add up. So it's addition, and I look, I say, okay, let's highlight my like terms. I've got an x with another x, with a third x, and with a fourth x. Those are all like terms. So then you're just going to take those numbers that are in front. What's 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5? That's going to give me 20 x's. So that's the perimeter of that square. 20x. You're going to do number 6. So make sure that you go back and you answer all the questions that I've circled so you can participate in class next time.
Right.